To whoever this may impact, sometimes our lives have to be completely shaken up, changed, and rearranged to relocate us where we're really meant to be. Sometimes change feels like loss, transformation is scary, and sometimes to discover the best versions of ourselves, we must let go of absolutely everything that's holding us down. Welcome to I Missed Me, your new safe space. I'm excited to form a part of your healing journey. Healing. Such a simple word, yet such a complex definition. When I first started my healing journey, I thought it meant to work really hard on covering up the wounds until they didn't hurt anymore, and continue to move on. I started waking up at 5 a.m. every day, even when I needed to rest, meditate even when I wasn't focused, going to the gym even when I was tired, and even after trying my hardest to change my routine and feel better, very underneath the growth I thought I was making, I was still hurt. For many, healing is about fixing, mending, or restoring. But throughout my healing journey, I've come to the realization that healing isn't just about adding new tools to your toolbox or becoming a better version of yourself, but it is about stripping away the layers of who you were, and it is about getting rid of what no longer serves you, and it is about unbecoming and unlearning, before you can truly step into the fullness of who you're truly meant to be. When you're clearing out a garden that's been neglected, you might feel tempted to plant new flowers right away to cover up the weeds, but without removing the roots, no amount of new growth will truly happen. And even if it does, that garden will not be healthy. Healing requires us to face those roots and to go through the discomfort of pulling them out one by one. Unbecoming is the process of letting go of identities, habits, and stories that aren't authentically ours. We all carry narratives that shape us, labels from our family, environment, and relationships. And over time, these labels become our identity, influencing and shaping our thoughts and actions. But what if those labels aren't who you are? Healing is about unbecoming. Unbecoming is about peeling back these layers and asking yourself, who am I without these expectations? Who am I without these narratives? And who am I without identifying with what my environment has made me believe I am? It's not easy. You will feel like losing parts of yourself even when you're not. You are not losing you. You're losing what isn't you. Imagine you're a sculptor and you're staring at a block of marble. That block is who you are. And as a sculptor, you have the power and decision of how you want that marble to look like. Your true self isn't something you have to build. It is already there, waiting to be revealed and sculpted, however you want to be. Healing is the act of sculpting away everything that isn't you, little by little, deciding what is. Healing is about unlearning, and unlearning is about challenging what you think you know. It is about recognizing that some of the lessons, beliefs, or coping mechanisms that you've learned and have served you no longer do. Maybe you learned as a child that staying quiet kept you safe, but now it might stop you from expressing your needs or standing up for yourself. Unlearning this doesn't mean disrespecting your past self, but it means honoring where you've been while consciously choosing where you want to go. Unlearning often feels like stepping into a hole. Healing feels empty. And when you let go of a belief, a habit, or a relationship in a routine that no longer serves you, there is a hole. It is scary, it is lonely, and it will want to make you go back. But that hole is where healing begins. It is the fertile ground for new, healthy, and empowering opportunities to take place. These in-between spaces feel like a void. They can be heavy, silent, and deeply uncomfortable. You're no longer holding on to what you used to know or who you used to be, but you haven't yet built the future version of yourself either. It's like floating in open water, no shore in sight. However, healing isn't just about action. It isn't about moving, learning, and constantly trying to figure it all out all the time. It is also about stillness. Sometimes, healing asks us to simply be, to sit with the discomfort, the doubts, and the fears, and the silence. I would ask myself, am I doing enough? Am I making progress? But over time, I realized that healing doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes, it is happening quietly. Seeds take root in the dark, and the start of growing is under, before they can grow above. You can't rush it. You can't always measure it. And once you've done the work of unbecoming and unlearning, the rebuilding process begins. But this time, rebuilding with intention. Imagine you're designing a home. If you rush to fill it up with furniture without thinking about how you want to live in the space, it might end up feeling cluttered or mismatched. It might not even align with you. And the same happens with healing. You get to ask yourself, what do I truly want to bring into my life? What beliefs, habits, and relationships align with the version of me that I'm stepping into? This rebuilding stage is delicate. It tempts you to go back to what's familiar, to pick up old habits, relationships, or beliefs just to feel a sense of comfort again. But healing invites us to choose differently, to move slowly, intentionally, and to prioritize what feels right over what feels easy. One of the hardest truths to accept about healing is that it isn't a destination. There is no finish line where you suddenly declare, I'm healed. But instead, it is a never-ending process, and it is a dance between growth and rest, between letting go and receiving, and that is okay. Healing doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look like it does in books or in social media. It just has to be your journey. Some of my most important moments of healing haven't come from achieving something big or a great breakthrough, but they've come from small, quiet moments like noticing how I speak to myself, how I respond to conflict, or how I honor my boundaries. Healing requires patience and compassion, especially for yourself. There will be days where you feel like you've taken 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. It is normal. Healing is not about getting it right every single time, but it is about showing up for yourself even when you don't. Compassion means being kind to yourself, even when old wounds resurface and when you're struggling to let go. It is reminding yourself that you are human and that healing takes time. Healing isn't a linear path. It is messy, cyclical, and deeply personal. Some days, you'll feel like you're unbecoming faster than you're becoming. And other days, you'll notice the new parts of yourself finally coming out. Both are part of the process. And the more you unbecome and unlearn, the more you will realize that healing isn't about becoming someone new, but it is about returning to the person that you were always meant to be. With love, Mafe. Besties, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to share with anyone that might need to listen. Don't forget that we have a membership where as soon as you sign up, you will receive an I Missed Me hoodie. Plus, you have access to an exclusive episode every single month, printable activities, meditations, monthly challenges, PDF guides, and behind the scenes content. Don't forget to follow I Missed Me on social media, I Missed Me Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to I Missed Me's YouTube channel, I Missed Me Podcast. I will see you guys on our next episode.